Well, it's almost happy hour on this Tuesday afternoon. Time for another hard-hitting edition of Man, Am I Hungry?
Yes.
I'm Dave Morris alongside Dave Cathey, the food dude, the food editor extraordinaire with the Oklahoman. And we get together every month or so to talk about, hey, what's going on in the food scene, the restaurant scene. And there's a lot going on as we wrap up the summer heading into the fall. Yeah. And you just had a sit-down interview on this very set.
That's right.
With a name change, a new concept, new direction for a place that will be called Decorah.
That's right, yeah. Anna Maines was in to talk with us, and she and her husband Drew own several places. They own Nux, Wheelhouse, and they just purchased the property below that was Norm's Dockside. The Rockford is another place of theirs, but their first place was in the Raw in Bricktown, and they ended up buying that 3.5 years ago, and they've created a really successful operation there. And this is really just the culmination of their hard work. They've been wanting to do this since they bought it, basically. And so this allows them to rebrand and sort of own the property the way they really want to.
There was another in the Raw in Tulsa, but they really kind of had separate ideas.
Right.
Separate tastes.
Yeah, for sure. That was more of a fast casual concept initially, and it came here. It still, I believe it still does really well in Tulsa. It just didn't resonate with Bricktown folks. They had a space down in Norman also. That one also closed. And so this really is just, it's almost like the worst kept secret in town. People who kind of know the Maines have known that they've been trying to do this for some time. So this is really a big celebration for them.
Decorah, food, cuisine, what are we looking at?
Yeah, it's Asian, Japanese. The whole idea is this sort of Japanese street style, neon and fun and loudness, a little over the top, that sort of thing. Japanese street food. They're going to have some small plates to kind of match up with their sushi. So should be really cool.
You mentioned Norm's. What's in Norm's future?
Okay, that's going to be Norm's is will now be open year round, which it was not before.
It was always seasonal. The warm weather
seasonal,
type thing.
Right. Now it's going to be year round once it reopens. It has not yet reopened. And then there's going to be a bar within the bar, and that's where they're really going to have some fun. They
really had an interior area, a kitchen on the another floor. And
kind of a wasted space, and so now they're going to maximize that space. They're bringing in some really heavy hitters from New York City to help them get this bar ready. And when all the news is available to report, it's going to be some cool stuff.
The bar previously known as Norm's, is that going to be the case?
Yeah, for now, that's what we're going to call it.
We'll call it Norm's, which is also a great place that you could have seen Greg Singleton's band, the High Def Howlers. They were a mainstay out there on the stage, which is a cool place for a band to play.
Absolutely.
It was just ready-made for that.
Absolutely.
Big lines on Northwest Expressway this week for the Charcoal Oven.
Yes, the oven, the Charcoal Oven. David Wilson opened that place in 1958, and he will close it next month. It'll be a new tire shop, yet another tire shop. I suppose if you have a flat tire, there's never a tire shop close enough.
You're in the right town.
Yeah, you're covered here in Oklahoma City. But the Charcoal Oven has enjoyed a very long history, and I mean, countless customers throughout the years. I mean, they have a very strong, loyal following, but no more loyal than right now. Ever since news broke over the weekend that they would be closing soon, lines have been out into Northwest Expressway as they were today.
They were last night as well. It has the big iconic neon sign, I guess, right there on Northwest Expressway. And David Wilson's probably thinking, where have you guys been, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that's true. He's 84 years old and has enjoyed, he's a big traveler. He likes to fly. The Charcoal Oven has done very well by him over the years. He's had more, there's been several. It was in Edmond at one point. There was a second one on the Expressway. He owned a place called Quick's, which was almost equally as popular back in the day. It's where the Neptune's submarine sandwich place is on Classen. That's right. And so the fast food business has been very good to David. He has earned this retirement, and I hope he enjoys it.
Well, congrats to him. And when does that shut down officially? It's like within days, right?
Yeah, well, no, it's September.
September?
The deal finishes in September. He's been pretty vague so far about exactly when it's going to close. He'll probably play it by ear. He'll probably wait until those lines maybe start to die down a little bit. I don't know.
Why not? Also, any word on the iconic sign? Is that going to be repurposed
No
anywhere?
word yet. I have, that sign is not original, and so it's not as, if he'd have built that, I had that sign built in 1958, the investment would have been a lot less. So this is a newer sign, not brand new, but newer. So I'm sure that there will be plenty of people that will be interested in it. I know the lunchbox sign is over at the Homeless Alliance hanging in the day shelter now.
It's right inside there.
As long as people like us keep the word out that it's going to come available or may come available, I have a feeling Mr. Wilson won't have any problem unloading it.
Well, about 25 years ago when I was in college at OCU, one of the places to go for a great lunch, and is still a place to go for a great sandwich, is someplace else.
Yes, that's right.
Talk about a legacy place that's been around for a few decades.
Exactly. And speaking of OCU, that's where the Carty, David and Peggy Carty, were students at OCU when they met. They got married in 1975, and then that next year they opened a little sandwich shop there next to Cookies, across from the Gold Dome.
Oh yeah.
And I was in there for lunch just today, and pretty much nothing has changed.
Right. I was in there earlier this summer for a sandwich, and the number one, the hoagie with the pepperoncinis and all that.
Yep.
It's a solid sandwich.
It is
what it is.
It is. I had the number 14, my favorite, the avocado with cream cheese with bacon.
I was about to say, they have a really good BLT.
Yeah, they do. In 40 years, you figure out how to do these things, and usually in that amount of time, you're able to figure out how to do it with some amount of expertise, and they've obviously done that. The lines are still strong. They do very well there, but get a chance, roll by someplace else and wish them happy birthday.
Like you said, it's right there by the Gold Dome and like 23rd, 22nd, and Western, right over there. Also, over the weekend, I noticed that Herman's, that place has been leveled.
Herman's is leveled. We're going to get a new place there. Herman's, my gosh, that building doesn't go quite back as far as Herman's does. But, I mean, it had the big fish sign and all that stuff. And then after that, it was Triples, which was very popular for many, many years.
Again, back in my college days, Triples, and then the Mexican place that opened
up.
Yeah,
Marco's. Marco's was there, and that was the last place. And it's kind of just sat there vacant for a while. Finally got a barter. They've raised it. It's going to be another restaurant concept of some kind. I'm not sure yet.
Well, that Class and 10 Pin area continues to expand, and that'll be kind of anchoring the gateway into that.
For sure.
Mutt's has expanded, new locations.
Yes, that's right. The Edmond location just opened this week. And then there's a Southside location that's planned here in the very near future. And from what I understand, they have their eye on 3 more in not maybe next year and the year after. So up to 6 locations.
Now this was Chris Lauer,
Yep.
Big Truck Tacos. Catherine, maybe?
Yeah, Catherine, from Big Truck Tacos. This was their original concept.
They were kind of into the Mutt's hot dogs thing.
Right. This was their response to all the people who wanted them to open a second Big Truck Tacos. They opened a Mutt's. Yeah, they didn't want to try to redo Big Truck all over the place. So that was their response. They sold it a couple of years ago. New owners have taken the ball and they are running with it.
Well, good for them. And Mutt's a good place to get hot dogs over on 23rd Street, again, near OCU. Not far from OCU is Penn Square Mall.
That's right.
What was that? Kachina?
Yeah, Casino Laredo.
Laredo.
Cantina. Laredo's.
I'm going to shut up because I completely butchered that name. It's a new Mexican restaurant, though.
Yeah, well, Brazilian. Now it's Texas de Brazil Churrascaria.
Once again, I kicked that all over the place.
Well, you're heading the right direction. It's south of our borders. It's that way. So, this is and Texas de Brazil started in Addison, Texas. It's sort of in between Dallas and Fort Worth.
There's one right on when you're going to Dallas. It's
there's
right
several
off the highway,
now.
right?
Yeah, there's several. There's one in Fort Worth. And now it's actually expanded all over the country. And so I believe maybe even overseas a couple places. So it's done really well. We haven't had a churrascaria here in Oklahoma City in a number of years. It's been at least 10 years, I think, since we had one. Fire Lake out at Shawnee has a churrascaria. And what that essentially means is this is the place where they bring out the big...
It's like on the side of your table, there's a guy with a big hunk of meat or something.
And he's just slicing it off on your plate.
Yeah, it's goodness.
It is goodness. It is. I'm not going to lie, it's good.
Ran into Dave Osborne a couple weeks ago. He's our neighbor right next door at Mahogany, and he said they've been in business now for a year. So
that's right.
Congrats to Dave and the guys over at Mahogany, and ladies.
Our other neighbors just they're settling in next door.
Cafe 7.
Cafe 7. For lunch news here around us, dining news around us, I just noticed they put a new sign up, bigger space, up and running, looking good. So congrats to them.
And finally, perhaps actually what was a pretty good, well-kept secret this summer was what will happen to KD's, what will it become?
Yes.
I have some good friends at the Hal Smith organization, and I couldn't get anything out of them. Brianna Bailey was reporting earlier this week, Lackmeyer confirmed, and it is...
Yeah, Legacy Grill. That was one of the 3 options that they kind of had thrown out there. I guess we're sort of a neophyte market for pro sports. and learned the lesson the hard way that when you attach yourself to one of the local heroes, that local hero may take flight and go somewhere else. And that's what happened. And so with Cathey gone off to the West Coast, they had to make a change. And obviously, you know, either Russell Westbrook wasn't in the market for a restaurant, or perhaps they just thought, you know what, let's just make this a little more generic.
Maybe Mr. Smith was like, yeah, we went there and did that. Instead of just tying our boat to one athlete, it's, and from what the website indicates, it's celebrating a whole bunch of Oklahomans.
All of Oklahoma's sporting history, I suppose. So a little safer bet. So that ought to be just fine. I doubt.
Seems like that concept would play well in Bricktown as well.
Sure. And I doubt that there'll be a whole lot of changes to the interior or anything like that. The menu will obviously change as far as, you know, the look of it, but you know, they're set up to do a lot of different kinds of foods already. So I wouldn't expect a whole lot of changes. I will say too, just driving down here, past the new Nick's Diner that's coming in up here on Robinson. Today the sign said, now hiring for all positions.
There you have it.
We're inching closer and closer towards the opening of Nick's Diner.
He's Dave Cathey, dropping all sorts of food goodness. You can check out his column every Wednesday in the Oklahoman and constant updates on News OK as well. Dave, I enjoyed it. Thanks.
You bet, man.